Great, we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. So we'll open up the road committee on 9/28, and it's 6:30. And it's a relatively short agenda today. The first thing is we do have an Article 43 application here in front of us. I read it over. It looks complete. Cindy and I took a site visit yesterday afternoon and met with Adele Stritchfield and two other residents. They explained what they were doing. There's a problem area with a side road that comes down off of a hill, and it meets up with a culvert that's not able to handle all the volume of water. So they're putting in another side-by-side 18-inch culvert. I think because they can't dig deep enough to put a bigger one in. So they're doing the two. So they're going to be regrading the road, bringing in fill, and doing some ditching and building a pond down where it can handle some of the water before it goes into right into the lake. So it looked like they had a good plan. They're asking, for the full $3,000. It's a $6,000 job.
It was six, I thought it was only for like 4,600.
Jeff Goodwin is doing it. Like I say, it seems to be a success story on Tattle Road, Tattle Street. They've been able to utilize some of the funding from Article 43 over the years and have put it to good use to maintain the roads. The road is very well maintained. They do brush cutting on the side, and their ditching seems to be working well. So, any questions?
So they're gonna put two culverts side by side, or they're taking one out and putting one in?
Side by side.
All the paperwork's all,
It looks complete to me. It actually looks too complete. There's a lot of paper here. And they have had applications in the past, so they do know what they're doing. So.
I'll make a motion, we approve it.
Great. Motion's been made, seconded. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, I will take it over to the selectmen and hopefully get it on the agenda for next Wednesday. Next, Langley Shores. As it ended up, the Board of Selectmen did approve the work as presented. The work has been done. One of the caveats that the selectmen wanted on this one was to have an inspection. So Ed Walsh, myself, and Cindy inspected it right before this meeting. They've done a very good job. There was a lot of damage. There's still a lot of damage that on private property that has to be taken care of. They had a pretty big washout, must have been 18 inches deep on the side of their driveway. I think it undercut some of the foundation even.
Oh, wow.
So it looks like they've done a really good job in elevating the road, and looks like they've done some work on the side of the road on the ditching. They're going to be doing more next year. This one was the first phase. Second phase will be doing more ditching and building a plunge pool. So we don't have to do anything with that. I just wanted to update you all, because we had run into a little bit of a problems with it in the past, so it's all good, and it's going to be going back to the, to the office to, cut the check.
We're
Release
able
the
to,
funds.
we're able to mitigate the water from going over, I mean, I don't know if we've had a lot of water to,
So they're diverting it both sides. I think what was happening is it was going on the lake side, and that's where all the damage was. Now it's going to be taking half of the water, putting on onto the upper side of the road, and minimizing the stuff going into the lake. Will, do you want to update on the Square Pond project?
West Shore Drive, I don't know if we had talked before, but the project got moved back, a month just because due to the high water level, the contractor asked for an extension, so, the month of September has flown by, so here we are, so, Monday morning, they'll be starting the project on West Shore Drive Monday morning, so, hopefully only 2 or 3 weeks, but
Is there a time restraint? You know what I'm saying? Like, cause I remember, I don't remember exactly, that's why I'm asking you if you knew, Will. I
think
remember when we were talking with the Army Corps and them, they were talking, there was time dates and stuff like that. I don't remember what the dates were.
I don't remember off the top of my head, but I know the engineer did have to okay the extension, so I
They
feel
did?
like if there was a,
They would've figured it out.
yeah, right, so I know they had to start with them, and then the selectmen had okayed the extension,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah,
I think we'll be in, all the equipment's moved down there, so I don't know when the culvert's coming, I don't know any of that stuff, so all I know is they're starting Monday, and the detour road's all done and everything, so.
good.
There should,
Fingers crossed.
there needs to be a bottom line person where the buck stops. That should be for, in the front hall. So if someone comes in and has a complaint, who's in charge of the bridge? Or this happened, there should be one person that's the recipient of these calls.
Right, yeah, and I think, I'm not sure what they're planning, I think they're going to, when the call comes in, if we can mitigate it right then and there, we probably will, if not, I'm sure they'll have if the contractor needs to be involved, I'm sure they'll help out and whatnot, but I believe, all said and done, I think, before anything's done, I think like the selectman will go down there, the engineer, to finalize everything, it prints pretty, I wouldn't say straightforward, but, I mean, there's gonna be obvious things that will be missing if, to finalize the project, so.
I was just concerned about having, if there's a problem, somebody should be aware of everything.
Right, no, and I think the engineering company, I think they're gonna be right there, so I mean, if anything really happens, I mean, they'll be right there, they can answer any questions, anything needs to be changed, but I think it's gonna be pretty straightforward, hopefully, so.
I hope so.
Who's the contractor on that job?
Curtis Earthworks out of.
Curtis.
Yep.
Great, any questions about that project?
Not that I can think of. I mean, it's pretty much right there at the point now where
There's no turning back now.
there's no turning back. We got what we got.
Coffer dams are going in tomorrow, Monday. So, about 2 weeks ago, we did have a meeting with Adam, Will, and Ed Walsh with Sebago Techniques, which has a contract with the town. Will, you wanna?
Yeah, probably some of you remember that the town probably this spring, when they signed the contract with Sebago Technics, we're gonna have them come in and they're gonna take like a survey of all of the, town roads, not all the town roads that are, paved, all the roads that we maintain on District 1 and District 2 besides the 2 state roads, so, the gentleman, I think his name was Chris Taylor, I think his name
Yep.
was. He came down and we talked and, they had a big map and we just talked about, how they're gonna rate the roads. I think they're gonna rate through a 1 through 5 rating. They have a 1 through 10, but I feel like we all felt like 1 through 10s, you get too much of a mix-up, you know, you could rate your road a 7 and then not mess with it for, you know, X amount of years. So I think a 1 through 5 rating was a little bit better. They're gonna ride the roads, look at the cracks, look at the shoulders, and then they're gonna come back to us with a pretty, I would say a pretty detailed description of what they think, you know, could be done, should be done. I mean, we're just gonna start with that. I did think they could talk about like budgets and stuff like that if we had to, but, I think this will probably point us in the right direction of where we should be headed with our
Are they
paving.
gonna give you like ideas, Will? Like, if there's like an issue, they're gonna give you like ideas
think-
how to fix that, or is it just?
Yeah, I think
You
so.
got-
I think they'll put like side notes in it, you know,
Yeah.
they take a section that, you know, was like wicked bad, you know, and might have to box cut out, dig it out, you
Yeah.
know, 2-3 feet. I think that was.
That is part of
mentioned.
it.
I think that's mentioned, you know, and I think, I'm sure there's a stipulation there. We get two involved, they'll probably, you have to consider engineering or something like that.
Oh, yeah, to a degree, just a rough.
But I think he said it'd take him a couple weeks to do it, and then, they didn't say they'd put like budget numbers next to it, right, Jay? I don't think.
No, but they would have it in time for your budget to
Right,
be
that was-
submitted.
And they're gonna probably prioritize it, kinda. like-
Yeah, probably, like every road, I think is gonna have like a 1 through 5 scale, like, I think 1 was the worst, 5 was good, I think, so, is what their plan was, and they're gonna ride every road. I think he said it'd take them like a week or two to ride it, you know what I mean, so, I think they're gonna put a little bit more attention on like, you know, those, more travel roads, you know, like H Road, Sanborn Road, Hopper Road, you know, then they'll look at all the side roads, but, you know, we kinda pressed our thoughts with the, you know, the couple of main throughways we have, you know, like H Road, Sanborn Road and whatnot, so.
See, I'm slightly disagree with that in the aspects, a lot of these secondary roads, have been very, very neglected. You know, just because you're not getting more, I'm not picking on you, Will, when I
Oh,
say
right,
this,
no,
okay? But just because you're not getting more votes off Orchard Road,
Right,
like I said, I'm not picking on Adam, I ain't picking on him, I'm using that for an example hypothetically, but Orchard Road is terrible, and just because you only have 4 houses on it is why it's in the situation it's in. You know, and I'm just kinda worried that's
No, I
what's
think-
gonna happen with the,
no, I mean, I didn't think we pressed the issue of like, oh, we want these, A, B, and C. I think they're gonna give every road a fair
okay.
on that. I mean, we even told them, I said, you're gonna drive on some of the secondary roads, and you're probably gonna be a little shocked.
Oh, no, you're gonna have one of these, almost on some of them, I'm sure, you know?
Right, they said they'll score them as fairly as they think they should, so I mean, all we can really do, and they were pretty transparent about it. I think they're gonna give it to us, and they said paper copy, then we'll have PDF copies, so I mean, I think it'll be pretty transparent for just about anybody if you wanna, I'd say if you want a copy of it yourself, you probably get one if they're gonna make it on paper, so.
When are they starting that survey?
They've already started.
I think that he's already started. He said, I think the end of this month or 1st October, so. I know they
Okay.
have drove a couple of roads, but I don't know how in depth.
So the town should have it probably the end of October then or something?
Getting it,
November.
yeah, November, sometime in
November.
November.
They
Yeah.
they said
That'd
we'd
be
have,
good.
they said that was I think Ed's question was if we're gonna have it in time for, because that was the big
Oh, no, totally.
talk last year was about, you know, having.
Spending $18,000-$20,000 or whatever for an engineer thing, it'd be nice to have it for what the people voted it for.
Right, so I think they'll definitely have it, and I can't remember how he said they were gonna color code it, I don't remember. I think every road's gonna have kind
Yeah.
of its own color, you know, rating, you know, I think.
I'm glad, it's gonna be
And they'll, and
Use
it's gonna have
GPS?
sections of roads
I'm not
that
sure,
in need of more
Yeah, because
work than
So is
others.
this by the hour, or are they giving us a
They already gave us the price.
general fee?
No, they already gave us the price, there was a set, like,
Okay.
I think the 18,000 was the
it
set.
was
price.
18, but I'm not
18
100%
Yeah.
sure.
Okay,
We can get you a copy of it, of their parameters that are in the contract. That was sent out to us before you were on the,
right, I know that.
yep. So I'll make sure that you get a copy of it, but it laid out what they were going to do, the scope of work, and the price that they did.
Yeah, I probably don't need that, cause it's already been negotiated or
Okay, yep.
whatever. Yeah, I'll just look at the report and know what they did or didn't do, so.
Yeah, so they're gonna do a
That's good enough.
complete inventory, of all the roads. He seemed like a really good handle of the existing roads. He just had a couple questions about a few of them, whether they were all, private or half private and stuff like that. And I think-
Will they make some recommendations as well, or just gonna report the conditions?
I,
I think they're gonna make recommendations, not to the point of, having, any real data behind it, but just to point you in the right direction, based on color coding of the mapping and, the, assignment of the critical, roads and the ones that are, better off now. And I think they asked you for at least the last couple of years,
yeah, they should give them like a good ballpark of what
what's
roads
been done
have
already.
and what, and everything, so me and Adam were working on that to give that to them and everything, so I think they want like a 5 or 10, try to think back as long as
As
you
far as
can.
you can.
Yeah, so I mean,
I wonder, I mean, this is already arranged, but I wonder if there would have been maybe an advantage to have them do this in late winter or something when frost is set in, because that's when that's when
You
the
start
bad
seeing that
roads
stuff.
show their ugly faces,
You're right.
when they're heaved up, and
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
I know Milton Mills, for being, a state class road, has a couple spots up there by the herd farm that,
Oh, God, it's always been like that. It's a lot better than it used to
well,
be. but it's
I don't
still
know,
not
last
good.
year there was more water coming, seeping out, and there was, for a time, there was,
It's because they've never really fixed it, that they just throw
Big
more hot
layer
top
of-
to it and keep throwing more hot top. and-
yeah.
I think this would be like a good stepping stone. I feel like there's probably, I think we could go maybe another step after. I mean, I don't know, we'd have to see how this goes, but I think, they're pretty transparent about it. They say, if you have any questions, call us up and everything. And I think, and I don't know that exactly, Sidney. I don't know, it might be in the contract of what I don't know if it's GPS or not. If they're gonna put it on a map, I feel like they
Yeah.
might. I'm not 100%.
the first one we did with GPS. And we also marked every culvert with the GPS, which I think makes a lot more sense than trying to use the telephone numbers. We found
Oh, the pole
the
numbers.
pole,
Oh,
we found
GPS.
that real hard to read
Sometimes you
out.
lose culverts too, so it's good.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you're not gonna find them all if they're buried.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, so in addition to, the hard copy, they are going to also have interactive online. So, your point about, the frost heaves, I think once they provide the town with the data and stuff, that could be added.
right, our road guys are really the ones that are gonna know exactly where
Where
the
everyone
Yep.
the
is.
problem spots are come winter,
Right,
so,
springtime.
yeah, if there's a way to GPS those and note them for spring or summer review next year, that's a good idea, if we can do that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that the consensus with us sitting around the table was that this is really going to be beneficial for town to actually see what is out there. The selectmen can better develop a strategy on future work,
Right,
and then Will and Adam can,
it's a base and
Yep.
it'll be a
Starting-
solid
yep.
base, yeah.
Like I said, I think
Sure.
you could, I don't know what direction we're gonna go after this, but I think there is like, you could take the next step, and if we had a piece of road that we felt needed to have maybe engineering done, maybe it could be, I don't know, I don't wanna go throwing that stuff out there, but I feel like, get our feet wet with this, see how this goes, and then, I don't know, we'll see what the future brings, but I think, I
Oh,
think.
it's a
you'll-
good step. It's a good step. I agree. It's a good step. It's a
Yeah,
good
I think
first
it's,
step.
I think it's gonna be valuable if we haven't had a real overall survey of the town roads in some time.
No, I think there's, even though, you guys did the RSMS years ago, but I think,
we did, Joe and I redid it. That must have been 4 or 5 years ago.
yeah,
And, because he was on just briefly, and it hadn't been done since 2007 when we did it. It should be done again, and we should have access to the very large map. And then also it should be downstairs with planning, because what we put on that enters into the big state system too on their map. So somewhere, we've got to find that great big one that we have and have a place downstairs for it. Just one thing I want to mention, because I'm the grandmother. I got onto this committee, and the committee was started because of the private and the camp roads in town. And I feel we've really got to make an effort to work with what we have. These roads have been developed a lot more than people realize. I've taken a look at a couple of them lately. And the main thing we are is public servants, and we're here to make things right the best we can. And when I drive down a road like Edgecombe, I fear for people down there with children and whatever.
That road is treacherous in the winter.
Yeah, it is. And then the other side, and we looked the other side, we took a ride up Walker Hill Road. There's people out there working, trying to make that work for them. These are young couples, for the most part. These aren't the camp roads where you're getting 10,000 a house. But I mean, this is having some compassion.
Well, I've actually, not to change the subject a little bit, Cindy, but I've actually been doing some research. And there's a lot of stuff that the town can do with these private roads now. The town of Wyndham does summer and winter maintenance on private roads. They actually worked with the state and changed the law last year so they can do it.
Yeah, I've got that.
And the town of Gray does it. The town of Gray, there's probably a 10-page application you gotta do, and they will plow and sand any private road that gives them the easements to go down.
Yep, that's
And you gotta
it.
have at least a 10-foot travel way, and there's like certain stipulations.
We can
And
do
and
the-
I think it's something that the town should really be looking at doing, because the town of Shapley, they appropriated $40,000 last year
And we
to plow
have their
and
experts
grade.
right here telling us how, because Jennifer was on the Board of
Yeah.
Selectmen, she knew how to do it.
Yeah.
It was a simple process, it's the same lawyer that we have for our town. It
Well,
means
if the town of
three-quarters of
Wyndham
the
and Gray
people.
can do it,
Yeah,
it's obviously been worked out.
If three-quarters of the
and-
people on the street will
So
sign
you're
a
saying
warrant,
that
we
the
can take
towns-
it over.
The town's applied for state funds to.
No, what the towns did is because they couldn't spend private money public money on private ways, so what the selectmen did in Wyndham is they worked with the state representative, and last April, they passed a law in the state that allows them to plow and maintain private ways if you follow the criteria, and you
Yeah.
don't even need a road association, and you
No,
only
you
need
don't.
70% of the people on the road. Now, one of the criterias is that you have to have occupancy permits, and there's gotta be more than, I think, 3 or 4 in the town of Gray. You need 3 or 4 occupancy permits on a road with full-time residents for them to maintain it.
Yeah, but how is that getting paid for, though?
Well, the people
Well, the
pay
town
for
is
it.
gonna
From the
pay,
town
the town
taxes.
has plenty of money.
Well, we got
and-
6-7 million right now just hanging
Town
out.
has
Yeah,
plenty
that's
of,
not that much if you really start upgrading some of the
Well-
older roads.
Well, you wouldn't have to-
Even pick up plowing.
Just to pick
for
up the
some of them.
plowing.
That's
Would be
that's
a huge, because then
deal.
it'll allow people, because if you have a mile road, it's probably $7,000 to $10,000 to have that maintained in the wintertime, and you can't do the summer maintenance because you're putting $10,000, because
So-
most roads aren't paying by the hour to plow their road, it's by the contract.
Right, so what you're saying is the private road association will give money to the town in
No,
exchange?
what it is, the town.
I'm talking
What
about-
you do is you petition the town, like, I'm not picking on Wyndham, but in Wyndham, you gotta notify the town prior to October 1st, right? So they can plan on maintaining your road, because it's not like you're just gonna tell Will in February he's gonna
Right,
plow
but
a road.
don't a lot of private roads hire private,
Well, they do, they hire
Plow
private
companies?
plow companies, but the town could do it, is what I'm saying. And the
Okay.
town could pay the private contractors at that rate.
The town can change its road ordinance and accept them at whatever level it wants to. And it's a matter of whether, are we a public service? Are we trying to help these people or not? On a lot of these, I'd be happy to take you for a ride. You have your poorest people in town on many of these roads.
okay,
yes,
well,
but
you know, I know a few of them around here, but I'm
And
just trying
someone,
to.
I
So-
mean, like on our road, we're $475 a year we add to everybody. Well, there are people on the ends of the road that are back that don't have beach rights. They just want to get to work and get their kids to school, for crying out loud.
Right.
And the way the laws read, we would have to, unless we change our bylaws, we have to change them the same amount. So a single woman with 2 kids and no money is paying the same as someone else. Other roads have done other ways of paying, but the town itself owes back for the money they get back off those roads. All those people pay taxes.
Well, it wouldn't cost the town that much.
Right, well, I'm just,
So basically, what it's trying to do is, there's a Supreme Court decision that said you couldn't use town funds for maintaining private roads, right? There's workarounds,
Well, the state changed the law.
so the state made a law that allow you to do that, I get
To allow
that.
you to.
yeah.
Yeah,
So, but I'm just saying, just thinking that some of these private roads, up till now, hired their own contractors.
Well, some of them, well, some the town maintained until 2005. And in
But now-
2005, we dropped,
If they go through this process, then the town is gonna pick up the tab on that.
well, they do
we're
it.
taking care of
I
roads.
think-
Yeah,
They'd plow.
In theory, that's probably where it would go, but who knows? I mean, there's a lot of work that has to be done before you can get to that point.
Right, I mean, I understand we have the money, but the money could end up going away fast if enough of these roads
I don't
decided.
think you'd find it'd be that much, because right now, we're doing, 26 miles of road, but when Will's out plowing, for example, he's not, he's plowing the whole storm. But there, he could add mileage into his routes and add a couple more drivers and pick up a lot of it. Like when I worked for Dave, I did probably 10 miles at least of roads. And
sure.
And it was just that one ton, you know what I mean? So you wouldn't be looking at a lot if you running one tons. I don't think it'd really be that much money, because I don't think one tons really make anything. I think they only make like $80 an hour or something.
It's not,
It's not much.
No, that's
It's not much.
That's not very much.
It's very difficult to get a road association to work because most people have no idea what kind of gravel to buy or who to hire to put it on their road, how much to put on. They just don't know how.
Right, I'm just thinking that if you, and it's just my opinion, but if you have these private roads that decide, hey, we're gonna apply, and they get it, and we take care of them, that's great, but then at some point, isn't that gonna just become an official town road, because we're already doing all the maintenance on
I
it?
feel it should, and we
So,
should.
is our goal maybe to try and acquire
Well, I think that's
more
something we
private
could.
roads to become town roads?
I think it benefits us in the long run, and I'll tell you why. Some roads were taken care of by the town prior to this change, and they had full maintenance. Others, like Abbott Road, we just didn't have plowing, but we had full maintenance. That meant twice a year, Dave Cody would come in on the back. He used to be the brush cutter. We would have the roads were brush cut every year. The culverts were cleaned out every year. They were maintained on a consistent basis. And that what happens with the private roads is you get new committees have to be formed, and then they change their mind and switch to someone else, or someone on the road knows how to do it better than who you hired, so they've decided to help you. And someone else has a brother-in-law with a truck, and this is how it goes. You need consistent quality work on these roads, any road.
I
even
agree,
near the lakes.
I agree.
That's our tax base. We need to save that. These dirt trucks running out of town every day are killing us.
Oh, that's a big big issue that we
Every truck
really have
costs
to
us
watch
money.
and look at.
So, getting back to this, thanks, Denny, for that information. And I
Something to
think-
look into, Jay.
I think,
Obviously,
yeah.
it's not happening this year. We got a lot of, but maybe possibly they could budget a little bit of money, and we could probably work it like the Article 43. See, the reason I found that is they were talking about looking at these Article 43 stuff, you know what I mean? They want to relook at the application,
Yep.
see if we can change the application. And that's when I found the town, I think it's great, they do summer maintenance and on the grade roads or whatever, you know what I mean? So obviously they do it through their application, which is like 15 pages, and the same with Wyndham. in that aspect, we could look at their applications and probably modify it to our Article 43
Sure.
thing, because if
Yeah.
they can legally expel these monies in that manner, these are bigger municipalities who has clearly probably gone through lawyers. I mean,
Yep, of
I
course.
mean, Wyndham's a
and
lot of rich people on the lake, you know?
Yeah, so,
Our Shapley lawyer has done the town of Shapley the same way.
I don't know how Shapley does it, Cindy, but they do
Yeah, I
it.
do know how they do it.
They do it, so
Yeah,
it's
they
something to
do
look
it. They
into.
have 3/4 of the people on the street sign a public easement. That goes over to the town. The unfortunate thing about it is annually it must go up to town meeting. That's how we used to be with the camp roads that we took care
They
of.
just sanded the roads in Shapley. Do they grade them too?
I'm pretty sure they grade them. They do summer maintenance. They increased the
I thought they
summer
just-
maintenance from 30 to 40,000 last year, but
Oh, I thought they just sanded them after.
No, they do
so,
everything.
what I'll try to do is pull together, the information from Wyndham and Gray and Shapley, and we'll have it, and then we can take a look at it at
Yep,
a
and see
future
what-
meeting and stuff.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, no, I appreciate this, because, it's something that's been batted around and,
They
forever.
just changed the law in 2022.
Okay,
I thought it was kind of cool in the aspects that the selectmen actually worked with the legislator and actually got something changed in Augusta. I mean, oh my goodness, that must have been a process in their world, you know, to help the people out. They got
Well,
110
it's tough
private
up there
roads.
too. It's tough up there,
They do in
too.
Wyndham.
My son is on
110?
110
Sebec.
private roads in Wyndham, they do.
Holy Christmas.
More than we're gonna have.
I wonder how much, though, that increased the budget for roads.
That might be something to look into.
yeah.
You just make a phone call right up
Insurance
there.
companies
I mean-
are gonna wonder if your town maintained, town maintained roads retain more value than camp roads.
Well, they do, and that'll increase property values in general, I guess, so that is a good part about it. But, still, you gotta look at what it's gonna cost the town, and if we're gonna have that in the budget, or.
Of course.
I think when we used to do it, don't quote me on it, but I don't think it was probably more than 15%.
I don't think it wouldn't cost, and we're supposed to serve the people.
Yeah, no, you're right, Cindy.
And they need the help. People,
Well,
when they
anybody-
buy a house, these kids, they don't know.
I think you would have probably a decent expense, I mean, grader and gravel, I mean, everything's just
Well,
going
I
up.
think Dave said, it was like, I think he said it was $1,000, as you're saying at Selectmen's meeting, roughly to grade my road. Right?
I mean,
That'd be an easy thing to figure, because my road's up, it's probably half a mile or something like that, so you're probably a couple thousand a mile on your, because he said that should include the gravel and everything, that's what Dave said at Selectmen's meeting, that just,
there is a process to take a private road and, make it a town road,
Yep.
is there not?
yeah, but that process, it's skewed, because I'm not picking on 7th Street, but they had an engineer look at that road and said that road, it was only, what, 3 years ago we did that, Cindy?
Yeah.
The engineer looked at that road. Now Adam had to dump, I didn't see that, they didn't announce it at the selectmen's meeting, but I'm guessing a couple culverts or whatever, some ditching, he was probably in there probably another $5,000-6,000 on the road that we were told 3 years ago by an engineer that it was good to go. Now, I voted to pass that road, and I do to this day think that road deserves to be a town road along with any other road that comes into the town of Acton.
You've got a road, you've got 10 families on it, you ought to darn well take
You might
care
as
of
well
it,
take
I
care of
think.
it. Because all it is more money in Will's pocket, right?
Yeah.
More money in Adam's pocket. Will can hire more people from Acton to work, give them 10,000 hours a year or whatever, whatever, but it's part of the business, and if, let's say Will couldn't maintain it, right, let's just say it'd be too much of a hardship on the road commissioners. Billy Plant, he could probably put a truck on or find somebody, or somebody like Caleb Jesse, they plowing in Sanford, they're plowing all over the place, and they'd probably put a truck on in Acton too, if proposition.
Sure.
Well, if
You
it
know.
pays good enough, they will.
If the pay's right, people will put people in something and
Sure
make
they
their
will.
money, you know what I mean?
Well, then,
And like you said, Cindy, if,
you gotta
if
pay for it.
if it is what it is.
So I'll pull that information together.
Thank you, Bill.
And then we can have future discussions on it. Was there anything else to come up?
So you think it was the town of Gray and
I know, I do know, it
Gray
is
and
the town of
Wyndham.
Gray and the town of Wyndham both do it.
Yeah.
You go right online, I have it on my phone, but.
Well,
the phone's in
Wyndham
the
would be
truck.
like what? All the campers would be around like Sebago Lake?
Sebago.
You get a bunch of rookies ruining your roads, and that's all running into the lake.
Oh, no,
so
you
your
can't screw
catch
around
basin's
Sebago Lake.
gone.
No.
No,
That's part of
what
the
I'm
Portland
saying,
Water
with these-
District, and those guys are extremely strict.
These private road associations, how few have been able to even come here?
Yeah,
They're hard to put together, that's.
it's hard to put
no-
together, and a lot of the stuff involves too much work. That's all it is, it's between the work that you gotta do to come in front of us and the work, the money to come up to do the work.
Well, I
Anything
move we
from the
adjourn.
audience?
What's that,
Is there anything from the audience?
I just think that this private road thing is a real good deal. As Cindy said, what the town did for eternity, they did maintenance on all private roads in town, whether it was one person that lived on them or 40.
Well, that caused a huge division in the town of Acton, when that happened.
We did it for years.
Yeah.
And we didn't plow all these roads.
No,
But there was quite a few that we did do year-round. And I guess, and I appreciate the cost of doing more stuff, but if Shapley, which is similar to us, just budgeted $40,000, that's very minor
Uh-huh.
compared to what's out there.
Yep.
We had 500,000 last year. There was left in the unassigned fund balance at the end of the year. 500,000 that was brought in, it wasn't applied towards the revenue. And we've been getting about 500,000 a year with the town coffers. And that's why we have the millions now that where they have invested into T-bills and things like that, so, I think they need to find a way to spend some of this money down, and I think serving the people on these private roads, is a good way to do it.
So we don't know what like Shapley does, like are they just grading the roads, we think, or we don't know?
and
Yeah, I'll try to find that out.
I
Um,
talked to the guy who did it, and
The grading and plowing.
Oh, I didn't know that, I didn't even know they did, I thought they just sanded the private, I thought that's all they did, I don't know.
yeah, Jeff Goodwin's father was the one that helped put it together.
Oh, I have no, that was before my time.
Okay,
Shapley kept doing it.
yeah, they did not discontinue, they went right down the road with the, and had them signed. And, they felt that the roads were worth more to them than a little more money, you
It
know?
wasn't fair to the people. Believe me.
Anything else?
Nope.
Great, next meeting, do you want to set something, or you want to wait until?
I think we should probably wait till we get that engineer report.
Great,
Right.
Does that work for you guys, or if somebody
Yeah.
wants
Yeah,
something
no, I
sooner?
think it'd be pretty good to.
Because
maybe-
then you'll have the West Shore Drive thing will be hopefully
Oh, man, I
done.
hope so.
I hope it's done with no hiccups, Will.
Yeah, you're telling
yeah,
me.
and the only thing else that could come up in the meantime would be another Article 43, and I think we could even just do that, on our own, and then do a online meeting or a phone poll or
Yeah,
whatever.
if something comes up.
Yeah,
But you're only
right.
talking
2 months.
2 months.
Yeah, right.
You know, I think that maybe look at the information from the roads thing and we can go from there.
Can we get that for the next meeting?
Sure, that's what we'll try, and we'll set
If they
that
have
up.
that, can you get us?
Um,
I'd like to have a paper copy of it, because
Yep.
Oh, yeah,
it's easier
sure.
on me.
Yeah, whenever we get it back, we'll, I mean,
It should be before the meeting.
Yep.
Should have it for the
So-
meeting.
So that's what we'll work on, is we'll get a date from, Sebago, and
Work it off that.
then work back from there.
Can we do Thursday about the same time?
6:30? Sure.
Works a lot better for me.
Yep. Okay?
So what's the date gonna
We're gonna, to be determined based on the
Okay.
report from Sebago.
be? Okay?
All right,
Great, thank you.
thank you.
Make a
Thank
motion,
you.
we adjourn.